Hello, hypothetical audience. I'm JJNW'S Ghost, and this is my corner of the internet. So, the last video I talked about Bahamut because he is my cat and I love him very much, but I had intended to do a video about Pixar movies because I adore them. My friend Clay, he's one of my two roommates, the other is Jose. So, Clay and I started a thing last year. I don't remember when we started. It was October or November where we decided we were going to watch all the Pixar movies. We're going to start with Toy Story. We're going to end with Soul once Soul comes out. And we're going to give our definitive. I mean, you can always change your mind. But we are going to give our rankings of every movie from their worst to the best, and I have the rankings written down. Now, I'm not going to go over Clay's because he's not here to talk about them, but I'll go over mine. I'd say I have very controversial opinions, but I mean, I have no idea how many people are actually watching this video. There's a reason this is a hypothetical audience. So I can't really stir up controversy if there's no one to listen and, call poppycock on anything I'm going to say. So here we go. So at the bottom of the fucking barrel, that is literally where I rank this movie. It does not have a number. It is BOTFB. The Good Dinosaur. The Good Dinosaur is trash. I'm sorry to the people who worked on it. The backgrounds in this movie are gorgeous. There's a lot of times when it looks like I'm looking at something realistic when I look at the backgrounds, and I look at the foreground and I see rejects from Gumby. I haven't seen Gumby in a long time. That might be offensive to Gumby, but they just look kind of gross. There's something about Arlo's design that bothers me. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's his snout is too big, if his head is too big, but just something's off about the design. The story itself is, excuse me, what did I call it the first time I saw it? It was like The Land Before Lion King, because it reminds me of, you basically combined, or at least you tried to combine Lion King and The Land Before Time, which are two movies that I think absolutely kick ass, and instead it just doesn't work. I did not care watching this movie the second time. Oh, because I had seen it before. I remember watching it on a plane and thinking, yeah, okay, this is bad as I've heard. And of all the movies that we rewatched, because I've seen most of them, there was only a couple I saw for the first time. It was the movie I dreaded watching the most. And while with the other movies, I paid attention, even if it was one I didn't care for. I gave it my full, undivided attention as best as possible. I was playing Muv-Love while watching The Good Dinosaur. I did not care. I felt like I am actively wasting time diverting my full attention to this movie. So I'm just gonna play Muv-Love so I can do something I actually want to do. So, moving on. Let's see. The next one is... Okay, so the next one on the list is Brave. Brave also kind of sucks. Brave has a few moments that I actually like. I think my favorite scene is when Merida and her mom, after her mom has become a bear, spoilers, but it's also kind of the main plot of the movie that's been out for a long time, so sorry if you didn't know the bear part. Brain stopped. I liked that scene, with the little brothers, helping them out. That was actually kind of fun. That was entertaining. Merida just... Oh, and I also liked the witch. It's just a fun, zany, quirky character, so I enjoyed that. The rest of the movie to me is just kind of aggressively fine. Is it that funny? No. Is it that charming? No. Is it that interesting or unique with its story or its character? No. It's just... You gotta be a princess. You gotta marry because of tradition. Well, I don't want tradition. I want to change my fate. I can't do a Scottish accent. I apologize to anyone who's offended by my attempt to do said accent. But Clay hated this movie a lot more than I did. These are still the bottom two, but he put Brave below Good Dinosaur. And anytime I use the phrase, it changed my fate, he gets so mad because I'm bringing up the movie. But I really don't have much else to say about Brave. I just kind of hated it. After Brave. So this is when my list starts to get. Again, it is not really controversy if there's no one there to watch it, but if people were, this is where they would hate me because my next movie is Up. I don't like Up. It's not a bad movie. I don't think it is. Like, Good Dinosaur and Brave, trash. Everything else in the movie I think is fine at worst. Up is fine. The first few minutes, of course, the married life scene where it's with Carl and Ellie. It's going through their life, and you got the music playing. It's gorgeous. I mean, like, it looks good, but it's just a beautiful moment. It's a beautiful scene. I love it. I don't think I've ever cried watching it, but yes, it has emotionally moved me. It has devastated me. It is not just the best scene in this movie, it is one of Pixar's greatest moments. Full stop. I don't know if I would say it's my favorite moment, but it's up there. No pun intended. But Up is not a short film. Up is a feature-length film. So it's not just this one really, 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 really good part of the movie. I have to watch the rest of it, which I think is fine. I can think of like two other scenes that I really liked. One is when Carl bops the dude on the head when they're trying to get him out for their construction, and the lead guy at the construction puts his hand on his fence. I don't remember if the guy smiled, but just the way he creepily puts his hand on the fence. It sent shivers down my spine in a good way. I really liked that. The other scene I really like is when they're having dinner with Muntz. And he's like, oh, like a flying house. What does he say at first? He's like, I've heard a lot of good stories. Someone was trying to map, and he knocks over like a helmet. And he knocks over another helmet, a botanist, a this, a that. And now, a flying house. That's the best story yet. I can't wait to see how it ends. Also, I'm not doing it justice, but it's phenomenally creepy. Also, it doesn't sound shivers down my spine the way that other scene did, but it's what establishes him as a threat because you know exactly what he's saying. I have seen like several other people have come here seemingly innocent, but I know they were trying to take my bird, and I got rid of them. Now you, with your crazy ass story, are you trying to take my bird? Do I have to get rid of you? I love it. I love the subtle storytelling there. But again, there's the rest of the movie. I don't like Russell. I don't think Russell is very funny. I don't think Russell is very charming. Like, it's not like I hate him. I just don't get anything out of him. I don't get anything out of Kevin. I don't really get anything out of Doug. It's fine. Again, like, I don't think this is a bad movie. Not gonna be like, oh, you like Up, you're dumb. Why you like this movie? I might ask, why do you like this movie? Like, enlighten me. Explain to me why this movie works for you. It just doesn't work for me. The next one on the list, because I know what it is, because I hate that I don't really like Finding Nemo, because that's next. Yes, I have Finding Nemo and Up below Cars 2. Crucify me for my opinion, hypothetical audience. Finding Nemo is a really weird movie to me because it's not like a flowing narrative. It feels like it's a collection of scenes. Like, all right, what should we do? All right, have them meet some sharks, have them meet some turtles, jellyfish, a school of fish, and an anglerfish. I might be missing like a scene or two. And then every now and then, let's throw Nemo in there doing something. And these individual scenes are good. Like, it's not like just they're fine. They're good. I enjoy them. These individual characters have a lot of personalities. Like, okay, the sea turtles are surfer dudes. That's kind of fun. The jellies aren't doing anything, but, bouncing on the jellyfish. Okay, this is fun. Anglerfish, creepy as hell. Sharks Anonymous is so freaking funny. That is my favorite scene in Finding Nemo. No question. Full stop. It's like, I look forward to that part every time I see the movie. It's brilliant. But the lack of... there is a narrative there, don't get me wrong. It is Marlin trying to find his son. that is a good, like, excuse me, you have a strong emotional connection there. If you've never had a son, I've never had a son, but you know that feeling of, like, when you lose something, even if you've never lost a person or a pet. Like, now I start to think I'm starting to a little stupid. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. It's good. That part's fine. But I did really notice on this latest viewing, it feels less like one scene leads into another and it's this big adventure, and that it's just a collection of cool ideas, which isn't as strong to me. Now, if that was the only problem, I'd probably have it higher on the list. But I don't like the ending of this movie. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, like, oh yeah, him being reunited with his son is bad. No, I want him to find Nemo. I'm not heartless. But, so, Dory and... Fuck, I blanked really hard for a second. Marlon and Dory, they get to Australia. They get to P. Sherman 42, Wallaby Way, Sydney. Meet Nigel, jump in his mouth, go into the dentist's office. Manic and chaos. Nemo's dead. This should have been the ending of the... Or this should have been the climax of the movie. Because, you know, they've done their adventure. They got there. Nemo's had his little arc. Gotten out of the thing. Cool. We got there. We can save Nemo. We can leave. But instead, they're like, oh no, Nemo's dead. We as the audience know that he's not. So it's dramatic irony, I guess. So then Marlon and Dory leave all heartbroken, and Marlon's like, just leave me, Dory. I'm depressed. So he leaves, and Dory's like, oh no. Well, now what do I do? Then Nemo escapes, and he bumps into Dory, and he's like, hey, help me find my dad. Okay. So they swim around for a couple minutes trying to find the dad, and then Dory's like, oh, wait a freaking second. You're Nemo. Oh, I know your dad, so let's go find your dad. So the thing that we were just doing anyways. Go find the dad, but then people end up getting stuck in a giant fishing net, and then they gotta just keep swimming to get out of the net, because I guess that's what Just Keep Swimming was all leading up to. Not just to help Marlon, you know, through his adventure, not just like, hey, I know it's tough, I know it's a big ocean, but we gotta keep going, you can't give up, you're going to find your son. No, it was to lead up to this scene, I guess. And then when they're done, Nemo's laying there on the ocean floor, just not moving, so we gotta fake out death. Again, even though we just did that, and I felt like my time was being wasted. I did not feel that in the rest of the movie. I like the rest of the movie. It's not my favorite, but I like it. But I aggressively felt like the movie was wasting my time with the ending. Because it should have ended more or less when they get to the dentist. That's the climax. Now we can wrap this up. Why am I still here for another 10, 15, 20 minutes? I don't know how long it was. It felt long. So, what's next? I think it's Onward. Yeah, next is Onward. I don't really have a lot to say about it. I thought it was fine. There's some parts that I kind of like. Okay, I really like the dragon, how it just is made of the school's, like, mascot. That was really fun. The entire time I was watching them fight the dragon, all I could think of was, this looks like it'd be fun to fight in Kingdom Hearts. Aside from that, it's fine. I like Tom Holland. I like Chris Pratt. I think they have good chemistry as brothers. I don't know. Like, I'm kind of wondering if I should really have this above Finding Nemo, because I feel like I like a lot more stuff. I remember Finding Nemo a lot more. Like, I'm actively forgetting a lot of what happened in Onward, and it was one of the more recent ones that I watched. But I don't think there was anything in Onward that bothered me as much as the ending of Finding Nemo. So I guess I'll keep them where they are for now, but you're on notice, Onward. So that's number... next. So next is Cars 2. finally we get to the bad one, I guess. Okay, Cars 2 is not that good of a movie. I'm not going to dispute that whatsoever. The whole plot of Mater being a spy, and he keeps telling the spies, I'm not a spy, and they're like, of course you're not a spy. You're a tow truck. That's dumb. It's really, really dumb. But the things that saved this movie for me. One, I was watching it with Billy. Billy is a very good friend of mine. And Billy is the type of person that just makes any situation 10 times more fun than it should be. Like, I think the worst anime I have ever seen was King's Game. I'm not going to go on a full tangent about why, but it was awful. And I told Billy about it. Billy binged it so he could watch the finale with me, and he's like, "Oh, dude, like this was great. I loved it. Not because it was good, but because it was like so hilariously bad." And watching the end with Billy was a treat. Yes, it was still terrible. Yes, nothing made sense, but it was fun now. And that's what Cars 2 was. I watched it with Clay, of course, but I also watched it with Billy, and we are just laughing throughout the entire movie. At the bad stuff, but also at the genuinely good stuff. Because there is genuine good stuff in Cars 2 I don't think anyone talks about. And it's Lightning McQueen. I actually really love Lightning McQueen as a character. I think he has a really strong arc in Cars 1. I mean, it's pretty standard, but I still think it's fine. We'll talk about Cars 3, but, my brain stopped for a second. Lightning McQueen in Cars 2 was hilarious. All of his dialogue with Francesco, the Italian race car, is hilarious. What is the thing? It's the two of them are about to race, and Francesco makes some comments about it. He's like, "Oh, McQueen is sad because." I apologize for my offensive Italian accent. But it's something like, "Oh, you must be sad because your friend isn't here." But he's like, "I understand. When Francesco is away from home and his mama, he gets depressed too. But I am not depressed because I'm home. Hello, mama. I'm with Lightning McQueen. He's a little crybaby." It's so funny how they're just trash talking the entire movie. The part when they're in Japan is really funny. I love how all when Mater's in the bathroom and like the bidet has like anime cars talking to him. I got a good laugh out of it. The intro to the movie with the car spy stuff, I mean, it's weird. It was actually kind of cool and surprisingly had a bike. Like, we're watching this and going, wait, how many cars have died in the first, 5 minutes of Cars 2? Was not expecting this. So, is it a good movie? I don't think so, but I won't deny there are good elements, but it entertained me the entire way through. Again, part of that was with the company I was with, but that's why it's higher than it maybe should be, but it is where it is. Next, I think, is Monsters University. Yes, next Monsters University. Monsters University is fine. I liked it. I remember laughing quite a bit when I rewatched it. I could not tell you the jokes, but I remember thinking quite a bit of them were funny. What I really like about this movie is kind of the balls that it had because of its main theme. The main theme of Monsters University is not follow your dreams, it's gonna work. Or, you have to work hard to get to where you want to be. Well, that's kind of part of it. The main theme I get out of Monsters University is, look, it's good to have dreams, it's good to work hard, but make sure that your dream is something you can actually accomplish. Because what is Mike's dream in this movie? I want to be a top scarer. But he's not scary. We've seen Monsters, Inc. We know Mike isn't scary. Everyone else in the movie knows Mike isn't scary. Except for Mike. And the whole movie is him working his ass off to prove that he can be scary. And at the end, no, you're not. You can't really achieve your dream the way you wanted. You're gonna have to compromise. That's kind of wild. I mean, it's realistic. don't get me wrong, and I respect it for that. The other thing I really like the movie is the antagonist, not Nathan Fillion, is whoever. I love Nathan Fillion, but as the jock jerk, he's fine. It's whatever. I love Dean Headscrabble. I think that's her name. I love her design. I don't know what she is. She's like a cockroach, vampire, dragon, bat thing. She looks cool. But I love that she's not just the mean Dean, like Dean Wormer from Animal House. You get the sense that like she's treating them like this, A, because they mess with her stuff, but two, because she genuinely believes what she's saying. Mike Wazowski, you are not scary. You have no reason being in the scare program if you will never succeed. Get out. Mr. Sullivan, yes, you are scary. You have the talent, but you don't have the drive. You don't work hard. And that kind of laziness is not something that I want in my program. It's not just, I hate you guys because blah, blah, blah. It kind of makes sense. And there's a good little message with Sully as well. There's a phrase I've heard it recently in basketball terms. I don't know where it originates from. But it's the phrase, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Because that's what Sully is. He is pure talent who does not work hard throughout, a good chunk of the movie, which is why later on, like, Mike is doing better than him. Is Mike as scary as Sully? Hell no. Is he working harder than Sully? Yes. And that is what's letting him surpass him, because you can't just be complacent. Which I guess is the two themes of the movie is compromise and complacency, which is just really bizarre for a Disney movie. I mean, it's a Pixar movie, it's a Disney movie, but I respected it for that. Next is Incredibles 2. Again, it's fine. I liked it as the follow-up to Incredibles. It's kind of disappointing, but it's a fun action movie. The scene when Elastigirl is on her bike and she's doing all this cool stuff with the bike, like she's slingshotting herself. That's cool, man. I mean, just watching people use their superpowers to do things is fun. Jack fighting a raccoon. Was it a squirrel or a raccoon? I think it was a raccoon. Using all his billion powers is fun. Mr. Incredible in this movie he's trying. It felt like his character development for the first movie is not completely out the window, but it's close. The villain from the first time I saw the character, I guess I won't spoil it, but the first time you see this character, you think, oh, you're the bad guy, aren't you? And then plot. Oh, look, I'm the bad guy. Okay, that was easy. The motivation of the character is kind of interesting. Essentially, I hate superheroes because dependence on heroes make people weak, and I want people to be strong for themselves. It's actually kind of cool, but I feel like I'm a lot more negative on this movie than I was about the last one I just talked about, but this one's higher. But again, you're free to change your mind. I mean, maybe I liked Incredibles 2 more when I watched it, but thinking about it, it's Monsters Inc. is a little better. I don't know. What's next on my list? Next is Coco. Yeah, Coco is pretty low. I love the energy of the movie. I love the color of the movie. I love just the full aesthetic. Watching this movie is enjoyable. I didn't really get into the story. It felt really generic to me. I don't like, I want music. Well, music is bad, but I want music, but music is bad. Well, I'm gonna do my own thing and become good musician. It's Footloose. Footloose dance, not playing music. And like, I liked this movie when it was Footloose. I mean, I like it here now, but I don't love it. And, the twist villain at the end of the movie, I felt like I've just been seeing that a lot in Disney properties, so it didn't do anything for me. I mean, the first time we were talking about the character, I'm like, okay, is he going to be the bad guy of the movie? Oh, I guess not. I guess he's cool. No, he is totally the bad guy. So I was right. And then when you get to the other twist about like, oh, this is who you're actually related to, and your family knew that, but because you weren't talking to your family and you said like, I'm gonna go meet my great musician relative, they never made the connection to who you thought it was. It just really felt like like the big twists of the movie really could have been saved with just simple communication, but there wasn't simple communication, so it didn't. Eh. But the movie is way too just gorgeous and energetic for me to ever really dislike, even if I think the story is kind of weak. And of course, that scene at the end. It is beautiful. It is phenomenal. I remember telling Clay, it's like, as excited as I am to rewatch a lot of these movies, the movie I was looking forward to the most was Up, just so I could rewatch it and think maybe it's actually really good, and my opinion didn't really change. But I was really looking forward to watching him watch Coco because he'd never seen it before. He knew there was a scene that was supposed to be a tearjerker. I told him, I'm pretty sure it's going to make you cry. And it did. He did cry at the end of Coco. But there's no shame. I didn't, but I have no shame, no disrespect to anyone who cries at the end of that movie because that shit is beautiful. Alright, what's after Coco? Next is Finding Dory. I really liked Finding Dory. It felt like it solved my main problem with Finding Nemo. It felt more like a flowing narrative rather than just a collection of scenes. I really liked the side characters in this movie. I mean, the whales were fine. I liked them. I liked Hank. I thought Hank just seemed like a really interesting character. Also, he's an octopus. I think they called him something else. He's actually only like 6 or 7 legs. But watching him move and like slip through things, open stuff, camouflage was so fun to watch. It was just like it felt like the animators were having the time of their lives doing stuff with him just because they could have a lot of fun. And I felt that fun. Unless the animators were like, no, this was ass because it was super hard and technical, then well, I had fun watching your work and you did great work there. Becky is hilarious. Just this really weird bird. like before, because I had watched the movie once before and rewatching, I was like, I was most excited for Becky because I remembered her. I also really like the sea lions. One is Idris Elba, and Idris Elba's voice is just liquid gold, and so just anytime I get to see or hear him in anything, I'm looking forward to it. So that was a lot of fun. And oh, the clam! So there's the part when Marlin and Nemo meet this clam who's talking about his ex Shelly and how she broke his heart. And the clam, I lost it at the clam. I think it's the only part of the movie he's in, but oh my gosh, that was funny. I mean, finding Dory's parent, it's very sweet. It's very heartwarming. I liked that a lot. The end, she's reunited with her parents. I mean, I don't even put a spoiler warning there. You can guess that's what's going to happen. It's really sweet. It's really heartwarming. They do have, like, a climax as well at the end. To me, personally, it didn't feel as forced as Finding Nemo's. It was still silly because you have an octopus driving a truck. But this movie was really funny. I think that's what it was. I just actually remember a lot of the really funny parts, and it was heartwarming enough that I put it where I put it. Finding Dory, what's next? Next is Cars. It's Cars 1, or as I like to call it, Thor, because they are literally the same movie. It is about a hotshot who thinks he's the coolest person ever, who gets humbled, loses his powers, and like McQueen, he can't drive, so he's got the stuff on his tires. Thor loses his hammer. One's all about lightning, one is all about lightning. And eventually, they meet a person, they really like the person, humbles them out, and then they become a better person. It's literally the same film. This movie's really funny, too. I was kind of surprised because I remember this was the movie I wanted to watch. Okay, Good Dinosaur was the movie I wanted to watch the least. Cars 1 was up there. Like, I just remember it being fine. And I rewatched it, and again, did watch it with Billy and Jose. And Jose said that Cars 1 is his favorite Pixar movie. And, like, why is this movie so funny? It's way funnier than I remembered. Like, when Lightning McQueen has the nightmare about the giant, like, bulldozer, and it wins the race, and it just obliterates chicks. Like, they went way harder in that scene than they needed to, but it was great. You know, just a lot of the stuff McQueen says, you know, just being a narcissistic jackass is really entertaining. But what sells this movie for me is the ending. The ending of Cars is one of my favorite Pixar moments, you know, along with the intro to Up. Even when I thought, like, when I remember, it's like, oh, Cars is just kind of fine. I don't really care for it that much. It's bland. It's whatever. I still remembered the ending and loved the ending. Where, you know, McQueen's doing his race. Chicks hits King. King goes, like, spinning. And, you know, like, he's screwed. And it's his last race anyways. McQueen's about to win. And he stops. And then Chicks goes, wins the race. He's like, woohoo, I won! McQueen goes back and pushes King so he can finish. He's like, kid, what are you doing? I just thought the King should finish his last race. Which shows how far he has come. It shows the humility in him. It shows the respect for his elders. It's a great moment. And that moment is kind of why I have it as high as I do, because I really, really like it. The rest of the movie being genuinely hilarious, it helps. So let's see. That's Cars. What did I have ranked after Cars? I have A Bug's Life. I love this movie. I really love this movie. I don't think it's one of Pixar's best because, you know, there's like 10 other movies. But I've watched it so many times. I think aside from Toy Story 1, this is my most watched Pixar movie. I might have seen it more times than Toy Story 1. I'm not sure. I can't quote the whole thing from memory. But if I am watching the movie, I will quote probably 90 to 95% of the dialogue. Maybe more. Which is weird because I don't feel like Bug's Life is that quotable of a movie. And it's not really that memey of a movie. I've just seen it that many times. I really like Flick. You know, the outsider who wants to fit in, but at the same time, not really at the expense of who he is. And I just like a lot of his kind of snarky moments. And some of the line deliveries, I don't know who voices Flick. My favorite line delivery of his is he's talking to Ada after the first incident with the bird, and she's like, I mean, not every bug would face a bird. I mean, even Hopper's afraid of them. Yeah, I know. Say that again. I said, even Hopper's afraid of birds. Thank you. That's hilarious. I love that. I love he's like, yeah, what? It gets a laugh out of me. And then there's Hopper. Hopper is the best part of the movie. My favorite scene in the movie, no question, because I actually do quote it very often, is the, are you saying I'm stupid? Do I look stupid to you? Let's just think about this. Let's just think about it for a second. If it was up there, would I be down here on your level looking for it? Why am I even talking to you? You don't look like the queen. You don't smell like the queen. Oh, I see. Under new management. So it's your fault. First rule of leadership. Everything is your fault. It's a bug world out there, princess. One of those circle of life kind of things. Now here's how it happens. The sun grows the food, the ants pick the food, the grasshoppers eat the food, and the birds eat the grasshoppers. Hoppers kicking and screaming. And I'm saying, oh, come on, it's a great story. Ow, 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 ow. Boom. I swear, if I hadn't promised Mother on her deathbed that I wouldn't kill you, I'd kill you. Believe me, no one appreciates that more than I do. Shut up, I don't want to hear another word from you while we're on this island. Do you understand me? I said, do you understand me? Well, how can I answer? You said I could say another word. Remember, Mom, this punches her random dude out, probably kills him. Hey, I'm a compassionate insect. Still a few months till the rains come, so you can all just try again. Listen, if you won't hold your end of the bargain, then I can't guarantee your safety, and there are insects out there that will take advantage of you. Someone could get hurt. And then he snaps all his fingers, makes this really cool whip cracking sound thing. And then Thumper comes in, and then Dot's terrified. What's the matter? You scared of grasshoppers? You don't like Thumper? And then you got her screaming, and then Thumper screaming, and then Flick goes, leave her alone! And then it's quiet. You want her? Go ahead. Take her. And Flick doesn't take her, he just goes into the shadows. Or no, he doesn't. Because Hopper says, no, then get back in line. And then Flick goes into the shadows. And then it seems you ants are forgetting your place. So let's double the order of food. We will be here at the end of the season. Takes part of his brother's skin. When the last leaf falls. You ants have a nice summer. I love that shit. That is one of my favorite Pixar scenes. Not because it's super emotional, not because it's super funny. It's intimidating. It intimidated the heck out of me when I was a kid. I just love it. It's just a lot of fun. God bless Hopper. I think I'm going to stop there because this video has been going on for pretty long. I don't know how much camera I have left, and I'm on my lunch break right now, and I should check what time it is, see if I have to go back to work. But I will do the rest of Pixar probably in the next video. So, bye!